And we are back here on the GSMC Football Podcast. And for the fourth part of the show, we are going to now get into talking about college football matchups for this weekend, as well as the early slate of games on Sunday in the NFL. So I'll actually take a look back at some of the games from last week in college football. So didn't really get a chance to watch it. Well, actually, no. I did watch a little bit of the Miami-Louisville game. That was one of the best games of the weekend. Miami was able to get by and win 52-45 to improve to 7-0 on the season. Louisville drops to 4-3. That's a tough loss for them. Indiana, we've talked about them in our production meeting. They won 56-7 over Nebraska, who I will be seeing live on Saturday when I go see Ohio State, Nebraska. Yeah, they won 56-7. They improved to 7-0. They're now ranked 16th in the country, which is a surprise. Rutgers dropped a tough game to UCLA, 35-32. Wisconsin, 23-3 over Northwestern. South Carolina, they improved to 4-3 on the season, winning 35-9 over Oklahoma. Trying to see what other game. Well, obviously the Georgia Texas game. That was one of the biggest games of the weekend. Georgia ended up getting the win, which was kind of a shocker. I think most people probably had Texas winning, and we saw both quarterbacks play for Texas. I believe they benched Quinn Ewers for Arch Manning. So looking at their stats, actually no, maybe not. Arch Manning only went 3 of 6 for 19 yards. Quinn Ewers went 25 of 43 for 211 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Texas, they only scored their 15 points in the third quarter. But yeah, both teams are now 6-1 on the season. Georgia is now ranked 5th, and Texas is still number 1. But yeah, I mean, again, most people probably thought Texas was going to win. So then also Alabama, they lost to Tennessee. They lost, I think, 24-17. Tennessee improves to 6-1 on the season. Alabama drops to 5-2, and they'll be taking on Alabama. They'll be taking on Missouri, who's ranked 21 in the country. Michigan, they lost 21-7 to Illinois. Illinois 6-1 on the season, and big game on Saturday. They'll be taking on Oregon, so that should be an interesting game. And then Colorado 34-7 over Arizona. USC, another tough loss. I was looking at their games so far, and all of their losses have been one possession. They lost to Minnesota 24-17. They lost to Penn State in overtime by 3. They lost to Michigan by 3. And then they lose to Maryland by 1 point. So they've had some tough losses this year. LSU won 34-10 over Arkansas. Vanderbilt 5-2 on the season. They take on Texas this week. So we'll see if they can pull off another upset, because we know they beat Alabama a few weeks ago. Let's see if they maybe can pull off an upset. But I don't know. I don't know if I'd see Texas losing 2 straight games, but that's just me. So now we go to the slate for this week. Tonight we got a couple of games. You got 5-1 Syracuse against 6-0 Pitt. So that's at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. That'll be on ESPN. Friday we got some games. Rutgers and USC. That's at 11 p.m. Eastern Time. You got Louisville and Boston College, both at 4-3. Also, Boise State at 5-1 against UNLV. So there's some good games tomorrow. Then on Saturday, you got Notre Dame and Navy. Notre Dame at 6-1, Navy at 6-0. Navy's a 12.5 point favorite, or 12.5 point underdog. Indiana and Washington. Washington 4-3. Indiana 7-0. You got Ole Miss against Oklahoma. Nebraska and Ohio State. I will be there for that game. Ohio State is a 25.5 point favorite. I expect them to win. Look at the other big matchups. Like I said, Mizzou and Alabama. BYU and UCF, Illinois and Oregon. That's going to be a good game, maybe. Texas and Vanderbilt. We'll see if Vanderbilt can pull off another upset. They're 19-point underdogs at home. You got Miami and Florida State. I mean, Miami should win that game. LSU and Texas A&M, both 6-1. That's going to be a good game. Texas A&M is 2.5-point favorites. Penn State and Wisconsin, SMU and Duke, and then you got Kansas State and Kansas. So we'll see. And in terms of the Ohio State Nebraska game, I mean, I'm really curious to see what this college environment is like at a college football game because I've never experienced that before. So I'm looking forward to it. And I said this earlier, either whether it was last week or earlier in the week. There will be I will be taking some pictures and some videos. So don't be surprised if you see some shorts this weekend between that and then the Browns game that I'll be going to, Browns Ravens on Sunday. So let's kind of go through the early slate of games in the NFL now. So you got the Jaguars and the Packers. Jaguars are 4-point underdogs. Packers coming off of a big win over the Texans. I like the Packers in this game. They're the better team. Jordan Love is playing really well. I know he is turning the ball over, which you got to worry about, but I just think the Packers are a better team. They got a pass rush on C.J. Stroud. They held him to 86 passing yards. I don't think they're going to do the same thing to Trevor Lawrence. I don't know. I think it's just how the game played out. But I know the Jags got to win, but they beat the Patriots. So I like the Packers to win this game. And also, I think Robert Saleh is joining the Packers staff in some capacity because he was at practice. Good for Saleh. Because a head coach might have not been his thing, but you know what? He can coach a defense. I do still believe that. So, and I think he still deserves to be on the sidelines in the NFL, just maybe not as a head coach. And maybe he gets another shot at some point, but, it's nice to see that he at least, I mean, I don't know what his role is. It's kind of a minor role, I think, but it's nice that he was able to, find work somewhere else. The other game that I will be at this weekend, Browns-Ravens. Browns are 9-point underdogs. Jameis Winston will be getting the start another week with Nick Chubb back. Ravens are playing really well right now. They're playing really well. I think I might take the Browns with the points just because it's a big number, and I think the Browns offense will look a little bit better with Jameis at quarterback. I mean, I don't want to pick against the Ravens just because they've been playing so well lately, but maybe the Browns at least keep it close or they backdoor it. But I think the Ravens win this game. They've been playing some really good football. Then you got the Lions against the Titans. It looks like it's going to be Mason Rudolph once again this weekend starting. The Lions have had a problem beating the Titans the last few times, but I don't think it's going to be a problem here. I think the Lions, they win by a couple scores. They're 11.5-point favorites. That's a big number, but I'm going to take the Lions to win and cover. Then we got the Colts and the Texans. Texans are 5-point favorites. Yeah, I don't know what to do with this game in terms of the points. I think the Texans win. It's just, is Jonathan Taylor going to be back for this game? Anthony Richardson has not been great. And I don't trust the Texans when it comes to covering, even though I know a couple weeks ago they covered against the Patriots. But I think the Colts are a better team than the Patriots are. When these two teams met in week 1, it was high scoring. I got the Texans to win. I'm going to lay the points as of right now, but subject to change. Then we got the Cardinals and the Dolphins. Right now, the Dolphins are 3.5-point favorites. We could be seeing Tua playing this week. I know Tyreek Hill is amped up. He was saying that, people got to start him with Tua being back. So if Tua's back, I mean, Tyreek Hill should do well. The Cardinals coming off of that win against the Chargers. They're 3-4. I mean, if Tua plays, I like the Dolphins to win and cover. If he doesn't, then I might take the Cardinals. So we'll see. And the Cardinals are traveling across country. We'll see. But if Tua plays, I like the Dolphins here. This game, I mean, I'm going to take them one last time, and if they can't win this game, then I don't know where the wins are going to be coming from for them. We got the 2-5 Jets against the 1-6 Patriots. The Patriots are 7-point underdogs at home. I mean, this has to be the game, right? For the Jets to get back on the right track. Has to be. I'm going to give them one last chance. If they lose this game, their season's over. Then their season is, to me, if they lose this game, then I'm done with them. I can't pick them anymore. I'm giving up on them even making the playoffs. This is the final straw here. So I'm going to take them to win and cover. I don't feel great about it, but the Patriots are not very good. The Jets should win this game. They're getting Hassan Reddick back for this game. They should have more of a pass rush. I mean, Drake May hasn't looked that bad, but I think the Jets should win this game. So I'm going to take the Jets to win and cover. And then the last matchup from the early slate, because we already talked about Bengals-Eagles, is the Falcons and the Buccaneers. So we did talk about this game yesterday. I mean, the Falcons, they've been inconsistent. The Bucs are banged up. I'm going to take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in this game to win. But I don't feel great about it. Now, you're probably saying, how are you picking them when they're down their top two wideouts? Well, I think they could rely on their running game, and I do think the Bucs are going to have some sort of game plan without Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. They're going to lean on that running game. I mean, look, the Buccaneers' defense has not been great, but also the Falcons' defense hasn't been great either. Now, I don't think we're going to see a shootout like we did a couple weeks ago, but I do expect this game to be close. And the Bucs need to win this game because then you got the Chiefs and the Niners coming up. So they have to win and get even. At least get the split. So I'm going to take the Bucs in this game, although I don't feel great about it. So those are my picks for the early slate of games. We are going to take our final break of the show now. And then when we come back, I'll preview the late slate, as well as taking a look at the Monday night game as well. So for one final time today, stick around, and we'll be right back here on the GSMC Football Podcast.